Hello. I want to show you a very interesting study by Richter from 1910. This is the starting position. It's bishop and pawn versus knight. And the weird thing about this position is that the side with the material advantage has to be careful not to get mated on b6 by the black knight. Also that the kings of the two sides can't move either, because if the black king moves, then white plays king b8 and queens and wins the game, and the white king and pawn can't move because they are disabled by the black king. So white has to prevent the black knight from reaching b6, and this can only be prevented from the light from the light squares, because the knight, if it jumps to b6 unhindered, it can't be removed by the light square bishop. So white has to be very careful and play with patience, and this is he places stays the critical squares to reach b6 are a4, c4, d5, d7 and c8. If the knight reaches these 5 squares unhindered, then the black pieces win the game, the black wins the game. So white has to prevent this. It's right to play, and it starts with bishop to a2. Then knight plays to f2, bishop again to g8. Knight comes closer to b6. So this is a critical point. If white plays immediately b3 to prevent the knight from b2 to reach a4 or c4, then the white comes in a Zugzwang, so he can't protect both squares, both critical squares that provide access to b6 at once. He has to move the bishop either to a2, and the knight jumps to a4 and provides mate next move, or either to c2 and the knight jumps to c4 and provides mate next move. So in this position, if it's white to play, it's mate in 2 and black wins the game. So white has to be careful in this position and not to play immediately b3, but to play a waiting move. Best, I think, is to c4. So if the knight goes now to b2 to threaten mate in 2, white can play the bishop either to b3, so the knight can't reach these 2 critical squares, a4 and c4, or he can play also the bishop to b5, preventing the knight to reach these 2 critical squares. So he has to do one waiting move. This is the waiting move. So he plays bishop c4. If the knight goes to c5, trying to reach d7 or a4 and then b6, delivering mate, so white has to change the diagonal to go to the shorter one, from a4, e8, and the knight can't reach d7 or a4, so white prevents the mate. If the knight in this position moves to e4, trying to reach d6, d7 and b6 in 3 moves, white plays again c4, changing again the diagonal, and if the knight goes now to d6, the bishop can play either to e6, or you can play to a6, preventing in both situations the knight of reaching from e6, the knight reaching c4 or d7 and then b6, and from a6 the same squares. The knight can't go to these 2 squares. So this is how it has to be played by the white pieces this study to avoid being mated. Thank you.